So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. The purpose of this lecture series is very simple. It's actually twofold. We want you to revise your current affairs, and what better way to revise your current affairs through the MCQ practice. Why? Well, MCQs are very important because your entire prelims exam is based out of MCQs, and current affairs forms a very significant chunk of your prelims examination. In fact, more than 40%, I can stick my neck out, more than 40% of your paper, prelims paper, is directly or indirectly related to current affairs. So you need to be very regular, very consistent with your current affairs. Okay? And side by side, if you get the MCQ practice from current affairs, then that is something, it's like cherry on top of a cake. Okay? Now, 4 to 5 MCQs on a daily basis might look like very little effort. But these 4 to 5 MCQs on a daily basis would add up to 1200 MCQs, more than 1200 MCQs, in fact, before you're ready for your prelims examination. So you would have practiced more than 1200 MCQs from current affairs alone. I'm not talking about static subjects like geography, history. From current affairs alone, you would have practiced more than 1200 MCQs for your prelims examination, just before your prelims examination. Okay, so as far as prelims is concerned, as far as current affairs portion is concerned for your prelims examination, you don't have to worry about that. But provided if you have watched this lecture series, made this lecture series a part of your daily routine, and if you have been consistent with this lecture series. Okay, enough of the introduction. Let's straight away jump into the lecture with question number 1. Consider the following statements regarding India-ASEAN relationship. The year 2024 will be celebrated as ASEAN-India Year of Tourism. ASEAN-India had signed a free trade agreement for both goods and services. ASEAN forms a very important component of India's Act East policy, which started in 1992. Okay, how many of the above statements are correct? Now look, recently India-ASEAN had conducted their 21st summit. Okay, so this was the year 2024 was the year of 21st India-ASEAN summit. This summit happened in Vientiane, that is the capital of Lao PDR or Laos. Now, in this summit, India, Prime Minister Modi actually gave a 10-point plan. And in that 10-point plan, Prime Minister Modi said, one of the points in this 10-point plan was that 2025 should be celebrated as ASEAN India Year of Tourism. So not 2024. Okay. Now, ASEAN India have been partners for quite some time now. In 2010, they signed a free trade agreement for goods only. In 2014, they signed a free trade agreement for services. So both India and ASEAN have a free trade agreement between them for both goods and services. Okay. Now, ASEAN forms a very important component of India's Act East policy, but India's Act East policy was launched in 2014. It was basically a successor to India's Look East policy. Now, Look East policy was started in 1992, that's true, but Act East policy started in 2014. So this part is false. Okay, only one statement is correct. The correct answer is A. Question number 2. Which of the following statements are correct regarding National Agriculture Code? It is going to be formulated by Bureau of Indian Standards under Ministry of Agriculture. Okay. It will contain general principles for all crops and crop-specific standards covering entire life cycle of agriculture. The NAC will not cover standards for the use of Internet of Things in agriculture. Select the correct option from below. Now listen, recently Bureau of Indian Standards has said that they are in the process of formulating a National Agriculture Code which would contain standards for agricultural practices, agricultural processes, and agricultural inputs. Okay, these would contain the best practices that farmers should follow. Okay, regarding the best fertilizers that they can use, the best processes that they should follow, the best practices that they should follow. And these standards would cover the entire life cycle of agriculture. Okay, from sowing till harvest, even after harvest also. It would contain post-harvest also, standards also. Now this BIS comes under Ministry of Consumer Affairs, not Ministry of Agriculture. Okay, so because of that, first statement is false. Now, It will contain general principles for all crops, yes, and crop specific standards also. So it will contain standards for all crops, agricultural standards, and some crop specific standards also. This is true. NAC will not cover standards for use of Internet of Things in the agriculture. In fact, that is not correct. In fact, NAC would contain standards for use of all types of technology in agriculture, whether that's Internet of Things, AI, everything. So this is false. Only 2 is correct. All right. Question number 3. Which of the following statements is are correct regarding Antarctic Peninsula? Plant cover in this region has increased by 10 times over the past few decades. Increased forest cover in Antarctica will contribute to global warming and sea level rise. Okay. Now look, Antarctic Peninsula is a strip of land, basically emerging out of Antarctica and going towards South America. Okay. Now, plant cover in this region has increased 10 times over the past few decades. This is absolutely correct, and this is alarming news because increased plant cover would reduce the albedo effect of Antarctica. What is albedo effect? Its ability to reflect solar radiation. Because if Antarctica is white, it will be able to reflect more solar radiation and keep the planet cool. But if Antarctica is covered with green, it won't be able to reflect back solar radiation and it would further warm the planet. Okay, so increased forest cover in Antarctica will contribute to global warming and sea level rise is absolutely correct. It will cause global warming, it will cause melting of ice sheets in Antarctica, and it would increase sea level rise. So both statements are correct. Okay, and next, last, which of the following statements is are correct regarding UN peacekeepers in Lebanon? They have been present in the region since 2006. It is a body of more than 10,000 civilian and military personnel from 50 countries. Its main mandate is to prevent border violations along the 121 kilometers long blue line. Select the correct option from below. Okay, so UN peacekeepers were put in Lebanon in 1978, and their main aim was to prevent border violations between these two countries and also to prevent the usage of each other's territory for conflict, for war. So to prevent hostile behavior, basically. Okay. Now it has been present since 1978, not 2006. So this part is false. Now it is a body of more than 10,000 civilian and military personnel from 50 countries. This is absolutely correct. And its main mandate is to prevent border violations. And what is the border between Israel and Lebanon called? So it is basically called the Blue Line. The border between Israel and Lebanon is a 121-kilometer long border, which is called the Blue Line, but because throughout the border there are blue drums placed. Okay, that's why it's called the Blue Line. So this part is correct. 2 and 3, the answer is B. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I hope it has added value to your preparation. It would add more value if you revise these questions also that were discussed in today's lecture, and you can revise them from our PDF file. This PDF file would contain written detailed solutions to each and every question discussed in this lecture. Okay. Now, where can you download this PDF file? You can download this PDF file from our Telegram channel, and the link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section below this video. Just click on that link, you'll be taken to our Telegram channel, then you have to follow it, and you can download the PDF file for not just this lecture, but all the other lectures featuring on our YouTube channel. All right? On that note, I'll be signing off with the promise of seeing you next time with another set of MCQs. Thank you, everyone.